President Trump had a little bit of a morning freakout on Twitter following the leaks of his former national security advisor, John Bolton. John Bolton's book. So, some excerpts were leaked out to the New York Times, and look, not good, right? Not good for the Trump administration. Basically, destroys Donald Trump's biggest defense is that, oh no, we weren't holding it based on this, this notion that we want an investigation into the Bidens. No. We didn't hold up that security assistance for that. No, we were worried about corruption in Ukraine. So that's why we held up the money. It had nothing to do with the investigations of the Bidens, even though that's a good example that we use of corruption. All right. So now, fearing that Bolton will be called to testify to the Senate, Trump decided to go into a very angry tweet storm in the morning. He said the Democrat-controlled House never even asked John Bolton to testify. It is up to them, not up to the Senate. Well, now wait a minute. No, the impeachment inquiry is now out of the House, and impeachment is now being handled. The trial is being handled by the Senate, which means the senators now can vote whether or not to include witnesses. So this is out of the House. Now, look, it's not even true that the House did not ask John. Well, okay. So the House didn't ask John Bolton because already John Bolton said, I'm not going to do it, right? Not only that, but he refused to show up for a scheduled deposition back in November before the House impeachment inquiry, right? And so he was blocked, basically, from appearing before the House impeachment inquiry by the Trump administration. And so, look, there it is, right? Now, Bolton did say that, hey, man, look, I'm not going to go to the House to do my deposition there, but I would testify before the Senate if they ask me / subpoena me. So, look, and by the way, that puts Republicans in a little bit of a tough spot following these leaks. Now, I'll explain that later. Now, Trump continues, I never told John Bolton that the aid to Ukraine was tied to investigations into the Democrats, including the Bidens. Well, that's not true. I'm actually more likely to believe John Bolton. As much of a monster and as a ghoul as he is, he's got no reason to lie about this. He just doesn't. I mean, literally. So what would be the point, right? Now, in fact, this is back to Trump here. He never complained about this at the time of his very public termination. If John Bolton said this, it was only to sell a book. Oh, that's clear, classic Trump projection. He only wants to sell a book. That's why you would say that. Well, you would want to do that too. Again, this is something that Donald Trump would actually try to do. But look, and I love how he points out, like, during his very public termination, remember that time I fired you? That was awesome. He's rubbing it in. He's almost like, come on, John Bolton. Like, I very publicly fired you. Why wouldn't you want to say this? Why wouldn't you want to do this? You're just here to sell a book anyway. Right? Maybe. Yeah, maybe he is here to sell a book. But this book is actually seemed to be full of pretty interesting stuff. Anyway, now, the book was slated to come out after the impeachment was over, right? So the timing is pretty curious. I mean, the book has been in pre-publication for the last couple of months, got sent to the White House to be reviewed by the National Security Council to see if there's any classified information in there. And while it was there, somehow parts of it involving Donald Trump and impeachment, as it relates to the very case that he is being impeached for, holding up that security assistance in exchange for a quid pro quo of making an announcement of an investigation into the Biden family and Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. Somehow that gets leaked. Oh no, not curious timing whatsoever. What are you talking about? No, not a coincidence at all. And I know that Donald Trump thinks the same way. That's why he went in this frantic tweet storm at 12 a.m. in the morning. Now, last tweet's here. He said, with that being said, the transcript of my calls with President Zelensky are all the proof that is needed. In addition to the fact that President Zelensky and the foreign prime minister of Ukraine said that there's no pressure and no problems. Additionally, I met with President Zelensky at the United Nations. Democrats said I never met. And released the military to Ukraine without any conditions or investigations, and far ahead of schedule. I'd also allowed Ukraine to purchase Javelin anti-tank missiles. My administration has done far more than the previous administration. Now, I love how his defense is, oh, check this transcript. We would love to check this transcript, except that it doesn't exist out in the public. It is literally hidden from us, locked away in a private server. We don't have the transcript, but we do have a memo. And the memo points it out very clear that there was, look, I need you to do a favor for me. Okay, that's in the that's in the so-called transcript, right? The memo. More importantly, we have testimony from Gordon Sondland, Colonel Vindman, Ambassador Taylor, Marie Yovanovitch, all of them saying that there was an effort to get Zelensky to do a public announcement of an investigation into the Bidens, his political opponent. Can't do that. Now, I also love how he says, well, we released the aid, right? No conditions. Far ahead of schedule. No, that's not true. No, the reason that he released this aid, without preconditions, by the way, and without this, investigation or announcement of an investigation, is because Congress, both sides, caught him. And they said, dude, what are you doing? No, you have to release that aid. You are undermining our power. We passed that through. And you have no basis, no legal justification to be able to hold out that aid. So you release it now. Get it out now. And then he comes back and says, I sold them anti-tank missiles. What do you want from me? Oh, so you're also saying we gave them the money that they then turned back around and bought our missiles for. You should thank me for that, because I did a good job. I don't know, man. We did more than every previous administration. Yes, we gave them money that they came and bought our weapons with. Look at how good I did. Oh, my God. And now, in addition to all that, now we have John Bolton, right? Donald Trump's former national security guy, making the case that not only should he be called to testify in this book, but that this would open the floodgates to others. And this might not be something that Mitch McConnell can even ignore now. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.